paid one year, but then you'd be overpaid on the other year.
And I did not.
It's no big deal, John. I don't look at it much anyhow. Used to pay off my charge card, but now I never have anything on my charge.
Well, I'm trying not to muddy it too much,
Nobody's
but
not listening.
Pete told me that he's sending me
Who's
guys
just
Mike's
there?
supposed to be
too
there.
long to do the punch list.
Oh, Mike's not gonna be here today. Yeah, he's out there.
Yeah,
He's out
I
there.
saw him driving around a little bit ago. It's 50 minutes, Mike.
I know.
Oh, yeah, get those last ones done and then you'll be finished.
Yep. I won't be able to
Nick,
send the other ones unless
I
you wanna send them to
attended
Florida.
the
No, they're done. You got
8
them.
o'clock
Yeah,
meeting.
No,
yesterday
for-
for the
oh,
visitors
that's
bureau.
okay.
You don't.
And
8 o'clock.
Diane told
Yep.
me she was gonna be here, but
All right, 8 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence and prayer. Thank you.
Hey, Nick, I think we need a little more bass in our voice. We sound like the Mickey Mouse Club up here.
Yeah, we do a little bit. That's all right. We'll get
Can you
used
give us
to
a
it.
little bass and a little verb, maybe?
Little background.
I like a little flange effect. That usually works pretty good.
told her she was gonna come. She's not on the agenda.
Okay. Announcements, correspondences. Just as a reminder, if you're planning on speaking during the public portion of the meeting today, please take a moment now, if you haven't done so already, to fill out the sign-in sheet on the back counter, and that'll allow you to speak during public comments. We have no meeting guest scheduled for today, so we'll move into meeting minutes. I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of the 12/11/2024 regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
All right, I will second that.
All in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll entertain a motion for the 12/16 public hearing at 7:30 a.m. and 7:45 a.m.
I will make that motion, Nick.
I will second.
All in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
abstain.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Let me look at it here.
So moved.
All right, we'll need a second for discussion.
Oh.
I'll second for discussion. Is there any changes? Department heads?
No.
Holly, we good? No
I think we're
changes?
good.
Okay, all in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the acceptance of the purchase orders.
I'll make that motion.
second.
All in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll entertain a motion for the acceptance of the warrants.
second. Motion, sorry.
Mike made, or Sue made the motion. I have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, we will now open the floor for public comments. There's a 3-minute limit per person. We thank you in advance for being here today for your comments.
2 weeks?
Holly, if you can let us know if anybody has signed up.
Yes.
All right, welcome to the meeting. If you could state your name first, and then we just ask that you keep public comments to 3 minutes. We'll hear what you have to say.
Robert Rapslovich. And I originally know Mr. Anderson. And I met Mr. Anderson because he's on the Springfield Township Zoning Commission. And I am at Sue Olson. And I'm, I think, the latest member of that zoning commission. So it certainly has been an interesting opportunity. The reason I wanted to talk to you this morning, very briefly, is that, as I'm sure you all know, the township has experienced a great deal of growth. And I've been here for about 5 years. And personally, I think you've managed it beautifully. I've seen other places like Fair Lawn, and it just seems as though the balance between the growth and the life style and living is not quite in the right balance. What I was going to ask you this morning is that I've noticed that at one time this area was a rather sleepy little area, and it's no longer that. And it's not too far from Interstate 76. And there is a specific area that trucks, when they're coming down the highway, descending, and there's a curve at the end of that descent. And what they're doing is they're using engine braking to slow down their vehicles. Well, trust me, you can hear this noise over a raging area. So I looked at the Ohio Department of Transportation requirements. If you were to possibly consider using signage that might say no engine braking, and they said that the township would need to initiate such a request. I can send you a PDF of this, and it talks about what the requirements, how you can do it. And I have a little map here. They suggested that you add a sketch of where you would say start the engine braking restriction and where you would end it. So I didn't know if you all had ever considered this. Has anyone ever brought this request to y'all?
No, not at this point.
Okay. Do you think that the board may consider my requests?
So in the public section, we take all this under advisement. So if you want to leave the paperwork with us, we'll take a look at it and then we'll discuss it as a board. All right. Thank you, sir, for your time. All right. Next, Mr. Anderson. How are you, sir?
I'd like to propose that we bring the lawnmower tractor, bring it into one of these empty bays. I went past there the other day and saw it sitting out there covered in snow at the road department. It's $100,000 piece of equipment. I could see it just sitting there, snow covered. There's no place for a road department to put it.
All right. Thank you for your comments today. We'll take it under advisement.
Can I make one comment, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Budgets come out in March is when they come out, so those will be available for the public to look at. But 25's budget's not out yet. They're always available. They're online on the internet, through the Facebook page, or you get a copy from me or whatever you want. Yep.
All right. And then next on our public list, third person to sign up. Gaycon.
Did you want to speak to the public comment, sir?
We're taking public comments now.
Okay, he's just a visitor.
He was
Okay.
just like-
All right. Did you have public comments today, Diane? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right. That's all we have for public comments. We will now move into safety concerns. Do we have any safety concerns to be brought before the board?
I actually do.
Okay.
I know that we approved the railing along the sidewalk here, but I did watch a gentleman stumble over the edge because you can't really see, and it's rolling rock beyond that. So I didn't know when that was going to take effect of the railing. We did approve that, right?
Yeah, we approved the railing to go in. Holly, do we have an estimated date for the railing?
So that was approved, but I can't move forward until February.
Okay.
That was the
We had dollar amounts.
to be done in February.
So the second concern is that rolling rock. I think we're going to have to look at switching that because it just tumbles into the driveway.
So Craig and I talked about that. So for the update the board, the rock isn't staying in that bed. So when they're getting out of the trucks over here, they're stepping on rocks. And so now we have this potential they're going to end up twisting their ankle or getting hurt.
Where
So
at, though? Right here?
yeah,
So
so
we
that,
already-
because you know how it slopes down, we thought it would hold the rocks, but they keep rolling off.
So we already we have a list of items that since we've been here, we noticed need adjusting, and that one is also on the list to remove the rock and to either put grass there or concrete, whatever's the easiest to maintain and the safest. So it's already on the list.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Any other safety concerns?
No.
All right. Hearing none, we'll move into our meeting section. Police Department. Chief Moser, the floor is yours.
Yep, thanks, Nick. I only have a couple items for the board this morning. Our staff's still working on some remaining components on our 2024 annual report. Once we get that wrapped up, I'll go ahead and forward that to board for your information and record. Other than that, I just have one item this morning that's going to require board approval, and that is our 2025 Police Officer Wellness Initiative contract with Dr. Patrick Palmieri in the amount of $12,000.
All right. I'll make a motion for the approval of the 2025 Police Officer Wellness Contract not to exceed $12,000.
I'll second it.
All right. This is the contract we had last year.
Correct.
Has it been working pretty well for
It
you?
has. It's been very positive feedback
Okay.
from all of our staff.
All right.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And that's all I have for you this morning.
All right. Thank you. All right. We'll move into Fire Department. Craig, floor is yours, sir.
Okay, I provided the trustees a end of the year 2024 report. Some of the items in there, and you don't need to read it right now, but some of the items in there is talks about our staffing and our staffing increase or our call increase over the past 5 years. And over the past year, in the past 5 years, since 2020 to 2025, we've increased 38% in our call volume, which is a significant amount. And you know, just some items in there. If you go to the last page, and Sue pointed this out, 2024 goals should say 2025. So just correct that. Sorry about that. We'll get back to that in a second. I did apply for the AFG grant in the amount of $940,000 for a fire engine. We're still waiting to see if we'll get that. 2 new hires are working out good. Goal is to swear them in at the next trustee meeting. I was waiting on the times. Now that we know the times, I'll get back to them and then follow up, with that on the next agenda.
Okay.
And then, like I said, getting back to the goals as we increase our call volumes significantly, and we are in a building where we can start housing more people. I would like to discuss hiring 3 more FD personnel, and with the idea of going with the younger candidates that we hired on the first round, and then put them through training that has worked out great for us. It helps us with a lower cost to start, but then we get a trained person at the end. So I just wanted to have discussion with the board if they would allow me to move forward with that process.
So I talked with Craig about this too. And the idea being, we did the new cadets. Remember where we got them out of the high school, put them through the training program. And it's been very successful. And looking at his budget, it's a piece that we want to add 3 more for this year. But to do that, to get the best pool of candidates, we really are looking for the board's approval to start moving forward now, because he's got to advertise with the school before graduation. And we're already into January. Graduation will be here before we know it. So we want to just have that open dialogue to see if there's support from the board to move forward with adding 3 more staff members.
I think it's a great idea.
You need a motion?
Yeah, I think we should do a motion on it too. That'll just give them that authority to move forward and start that
I would
advertising.
like to make that motion as requested.
All right, I'll second that. Everybody's good. We're looking at 3 additional. That'll put 1 per shift, correct?
Correct.
And I mean, the good thing about it, we get local candidates.
Yeah, I really look local out. So local gets the first look at everything, and then I think we go out from there. But when we did this last time, not knowing what I was doing, and it was successful, we did everything within a month and a half. If I can start now, I can get out to some schools and really have a nice pool.
Yeah, you had a lot of candidates to choose from, didn't you?
We did for the short time.
Did you have 8?
It-
Some?
I had way more.
Way more than
I had
that?
around 20.
Wow.
And then, but that was, like I said, within a month. If I get out now, I could have 50 plus easy and have a real good choice.
And I think the feedback from the fire staff has been very supportive of it.
Yeah.
It's been good on both sides for the new candidates and for our senior staff here, to have that interaction and build them up. from the
Yeah, because
get-go.
they got someone they can pick on.
All right. Right. They get a low man.
Craig, could I just ask one thing of it,
Yep.
or actually two?
Yep.
Do you have any numbers that you can look up or put into of what that will affect their overtime payroll for all those people coming in? So that when we continue to hire these, we can say we're bringing them on and we're cutting
So
$50,000 in overtime.
yeah, I can look at that, but I can answer that very quickly that as a new candidate, you aren't even eligible to overtime for
No, I meant
A
the
year and a half.
callbacks. The callbacks.
they're not even eligible.
No, I mean our callbacks. That are
Yeah, so
coming
he's
in
saying
because
like,
we
Oh,
have
okay.
how do they
that affects
replace?
that? Well,
Yeah.
again, let me answer that. Until they're trained, it doesn't affect anything until they're trained and actually count as
So
staffing.
the
it
three
would
that are
remain the
coming
same.
on now, don't they work on their days off and drive the truck, or they don't do any of that?
Nope,
So they
work.
don't add to a staff?
Their job right now is to work during shift, assist with the calls, and go to school.
Well, I know, but aren't they an extra body?
They,
So if we had,
they are, but they do not count as they're not paramedics, so they don't count as the staffing on the truck to affect medical care.
I just thought that we were thinking that they could still drive the truck. And then we'd have the EMS person in the back. So officially they could stop a callback because they would be
Because we can
one
send an
person to drive the
additional.
squad.
So yes, let me follow up with some numbers. It does affect, but it doesn't affect as much as it will once they're trained.
Well, could you look at that? And then could you look at when those three come in? Because they're going to be here when? They're going to be final in June?
Well,
The first three?
the first group, yeah, June they graduate all school.
And that's why we were thinking about bringing the next three on at
Right.
that point, because then we have that transition.
No, I get that. I just want to see what the number effect.
Yes, I
If
can
you
do
could
that.
Keep that in
Do that.
mind when you're looking at it.
Because eventually, yes, you'll get enough. The goal is to get enough staffing that we can run all the calls that we have for the vehicles, right? So if we have all the vehicles out and we don't need any callbacks,
Yeah, because that's probably
there's
one of
nothing
our,
left to run. But
that's our biggest unpredictable is how many guys are going to come back on a callback. And now we're paying them for 10 minutes and then they leave, but we're paying them for 3 hours.
Or they may not come back and then we're having to mutual aid.
Right.
This helps reduce that mutual
Mhm.
aid.
yeah, and it will affect it. It's going to take some time though.
Okay. All right.
Because we have promised, the board has supported me on this. We've promised to provide paramedics, to the township. And so again, if I hire them tomorrow, it's 2 years till they're.
Oh, yeah, I get that, and I'm 100% behind that. I think that's perfect. I just want to be able, when someone asks, hey, why are we hiring all these people? We say, hey, we just saved $50,000, $80,000 in additional overtime or callback costs, which pretty much pay for most of them. So,
You
Okay.
are correct in that, and I will get that to you.
okay, that sounds good. All right,
So there's a motion on the floor.
all in favor? Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right.
Thank you. I unless anybody has anything for me, that's all
Craig, what are we calling them again?
I have. What's the proper term?
No, what are we calling the employees again?
I had it as entry level firemen.
Okay, all right.
That's what we had named it. Firefighters, not firemen. Firefighters.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your report. Administration, we'll turn the floor over to Holly.
Yeah, and I'll just jump since Mike isn't here. I just wanted to make a note. We put out a post about the new signal at State Route 43 and Sanctuary View Drive, that it will be an active stop and go signal on January 21st, 2025. All warning signage should be up as of yesterday.
It
and-
is.
And
It
this
is.
and the signal will flash for 10 days prior to the activation date. The signal is currently a temporary installation that'll be permanent in the future. The light will be maintained until the permanent installation is installed and accepted by ODOT. And of course, the work's being done by permit. So we did put that post out. Unfortunately, there is a gap in time in when Sheets opens and when that light comes out of flashing test mode. So ODOT is required to have the light in flashing test mode for 10 days before it can be switched to stop and go operation. So there will be, I believe it's 5 days, as I mentioned, that Sheets will be open. So, of course, there's concerns of with that delay, but unfortunately that's a requirement by ODOT and we don't have a way of making it active prior to. So just wanted to report on that for you guys.
Holly, when's the grand opening Sheets? You remember?
Let's see, since
that was the
16th,
16th.
yep, opening on the 16th.
16th.
So as I mentioned, that light will not be out of
Nice.
testing until the 21st.
Roy, during the grand opening, do you think we could have increased patrol down there or have an extra officer kind of in that area?
Yeah, I'll probably have one or two staff members actually at the opening. So anybody on day shift, as long as we're not tied up, we'll just kind of be in that area.
Just because I know they do discounted gas a lot of times
Yep.
those days, so it could get pretty congested.
Yep.
And if they see a car, maybe it'll help calm traffic
Sure.
down some.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, and then on to my items. So just old business, just want to let you know, I'm still waiting to hear back from GDI on quotes for the township signs. I've reached out quite a few times to get those to you. I was hoping to have them today, but just haven't received them yet. So those are still in progress. New business. So last year we approved hiring in the ACA reporting firm. And just this week I completed the data uploads so that we could issue Form 1095C to employees. This form is required under the ACA Affordable Care Act for employees to report that we offered healthcare coverage and that it's affordable under the requirements. And those forms are required to be sent out sometime in March. So employees will receive those, and I'll send out a notice just letting employees know prior to that they'll be receiving those forms. Board approval, we have approval needed for a resolution of necessity for levying a renewal tax in the amount of $1.9 million, and this is for roads.
So I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution of necessity for levying a renewal tax exceeding the 10 mil limitation for the purposes laid out in 5705.19G.
Yeah, I'm going to make that motion.
I'll second that motion for discussion.
Now, this is just a renewal. It's not a, so it's the same amount of money that we've been charging.
Okay.
And with more residents, the actual residents, their money goes down. Their
Right.
share of it goes down. We'll just, the old pizza pie.
One of these days we'll get people to understand the pie piece. but
I
yeah, with-
understand. I'm all about pizza. All I know is my pizza is getting smaller.
Yes, yes.
So we just got to put
So
that
there's
out.
there's no increase to this. We're asking for a straight renewal. This is our normal road.
And without this, I mean, we're going to go back to the Chisholm Trail, chuck holes, all that other stuff. I mean, Nick, you were probably too young to remember when Chick and I were here and dodging chuck holes with our wagons.
Our road department has done an amazing job with these funds to get us to a point of repairing the roads and then maintaining them. It's not just about the repair of the roads, but then the maintenance of those so that that work that we put in continues for a long period.
Mhm.
We just patch it and then move on to the next set of roads and don't maintain the other ones. It's an endless cycle.
Oh,
So
he's
they've
got
done a
it.
great
He has
job.
it in a great cycle now.
We're no longer the dog chasing its tail.
Okay, all in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
And next one, approval needed for a resolution of necessity for levying a renewal tax in the amount of 0.95 million. Again, this is for roads, and again, it is a renewal, so no increase as well.
All right, I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution and necessity for levying a renewal tax exceeding the 10 mil limitation for the purposes laid out in 5705.19G.
And I will make that motion again.
I will second, and for discussion, it's not just agenda update there, it's mil, not million. So it's a mil. The numbers work out a little bit different there. Just so the public understands, we're not necessarily
Oh,
getting
you're trying to fake
1.95
something
million.
on us here.
Okay, all in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
That's all I have.
All right. Moving to zoning and economic development. Any updates?
No updates today.
No updates really? All right. Road department. Dave, it's snowing out there.
Yes, it is.
Floor's yours.
Just a couple things. Sorry I didn't get a chance to put a report out. I'm a little busy.
Yeah.
I got an order in for 200 ton of salt. People might start noticing, right now, the state is getting their salt bundle filled back, in all their bins. So we're on a waiting list. So we may have to back off allotments, do hills, curves, and intersections. And the developments, main roads, we will try to keep them, like we normally do, wide open, but if we start getting smaller and smaller in our salt amount, we may be down to hills, roads and curves on them too. So it's just an FYI. I'm actually going to call the trucking company today and see if I can sneak some out. If not, I'm going to try to talk to ODOT over here in Rootstown, Mark, and see if I could borrow 5 or 6 loads if I get to that point where we could just replace it when we get ours in. So,
Okay.
We're having a lot of issues with cars on the roadways. We do have parking bans. Everything's stated in developments that we have 2 inches of snow, cars off the road. I buried a few cars this last few snowstorms. Then I get calls back, when are you going to come clean up my road? It's not clear. We won't come back. Once we go through, we're busy trying to maintain the mains. If we get back to the development again later that part of the day, we'll push it off, but we won't just come back because you decide to move your car. Yeah, we are starting to have issues where we're skipping a few spots because of cars on the roadway, but I haven't heard from them people yet. So. But other than that, there's not much more we can do. I mean, I can't have Roy's group out chasing in front of our trucks trying to get all the. It's common sense. I mean. You hate to say it that way, but it is.
Do we want to say at some level, Dave, that we activate the Nixle alert system just as a reminder? Hey, there's a parking ban in sections once we're over 2 inches. I don't know if we need to do it at the 2 inch mark, the 4 inch mark, but is there a point that we want to activate that?
Well, through the state, it's a 2 inch. Once you get 2 inches of snow on the road, you're not supposed to park on the road.
Heck, we should be using that Nixle. Goes out. I mean, Roy, is there a way we can tow these?
Yeah, I get we could, but that would be a last resort.
Yeah, but if it's a safety issue when you can't plow the road,
Yeah,
well, that is a
if we
last
can
resort.
articulate that, and obviously the first thing I want to do, because I'm going to tie up an officer out there waiting to do an impound with that. Our first course would try to make contact with the owner to get him to move it off the road. That would be the first thing we would do. As far as actually hooking their car off the road, that would be an item of last resort, and I would want to articulate that there clearly is a safety issue or an emergency vehicle couldn't get through.
Well, what
or
if you
something like
what
that.
if you put a sticker on the thing, like a warning sticker, like the ODOT does along the expressway? I don't know. It just seemed we've had this problem nonstop. I mean,
Well-
so the only thing we can do is bury them.
Well, that's the thing. We're not. My guys are told to. You can't get through a cul-de-sac. I mean, it's a cul-de-sac. I mean, come on. I hate to say it that way, but it is Ohio. There is times you're gonna have to drive through snow. It is what it is. Like I said, I don't want Roy's guys tied up trying to move cars
that.
because again, it's one snowstorm. It's these 3 cars. The next snowstorm, it's 5 or 6 over. They're all over the place. So it's just a common sense thing. We do have signs out. You would think, you hear weather's coming. I mean, like the last big snow we got at was kind of we were supposed to get 1 inch and we ended up getting 4 inches. So it comes and goes. It's just a common sense thing.
Well, I would understand somebody parking overnight and forgetting that it was going to snow. There are cars that have been parked there for 3 weeks now, and they never move. There's 2 that are on Sanctuary that have not moved in a month, and they sit out there. I think that we should be able to do something with them. I mean, they cause a hazard because now you can't get around that section. It's already congested as it is, but they don't care. They just leave their cars out there and
Well,
don't move.
the thing with them cars there, though, one side of it, they're legally parked because they're on the.
But it's over 2 inches of
Snow
snow.
over 2 inches of snow, then it makes it.
Right.
But
Well, could we put a big blurb on a digital sign as a reminder to people? Like an ad to remind them, get your cars off the street, like
That's what we're hitting them with the Nixle and the.
yeah, Joe says, yeah.
We could, I just don't know how many, I mean,
Right.
there's signs in the allotment, so I mean, it's just another layer, but I'm not really sure that will help. Even going back to the Nixle alerts,
Yeah.
like how would you just want us to send out a Nixle alert reminder every time there's snow? Back to, I don't want to inundate people.
Yeah, that's what I'm
With
saying. What's that
with
inch
Nixle
level, right? Like if
alerts,
there's 2
yeah.
inches, it's, we're right on that border. But if we get 6 inches of snow coming in, do you want the Nixle alert to go out?
And then kind of to the point of they call for 1 inch and then it's 4 inches. So are we just sending them out what's the balance? Because then we're all trying to watch for when it hits 2 inches of snow and it becomes a little bit of a nightmare to monitor. So yeah, what's the balance of not inundating people, but getting the
I think in
information
all
out?
honesty, for like, to put on a nixle, if we know there's 6, 8 inches coming or
Right.
something, let's throw a nixle out and say, hey, car's off the road. I mean, that's, like I said,
I would run it through Dave and have, not to put it on too much on your plate, but Dave, for you to call over to Holly or Roy and say, hey, listen, this is the expected storm. Can we put the Nixle alert out for this parking?
right. I mean, like I said, the 2 inches, I mean, yeah, we're plowing, but it's when you get hooked up with a 4-inch, now you're leaving a lot of snow, and then plus we have a lot of people get mad. They throw all the snow back in the roadway after we leave, and then why ain't you plowing it? Well, we're not going to plow it. It just becomes a war this time of year with the snow. So
I would think 99% of the people move their things off, and I bet you if you went around town with the camera and took a picture of the cars that were there, you go around the next snowstorm, they're the cars that are still there. They're that same group of people that don't move their cars off the street. If they got towed once, that'll put a note out there that, we're getting towed, but nobody does anything. So they just leave them there, and they're the same cars all the time. So
I think we try to
Dave,
do some notifications.
Yeah,
from
Dave, if you want to notify me when you think a Nixle alert should go out, and then at that time, we'll also put it on the sign.
yeah, no, that's
I don't think that'll solve your issue, though.
We need
No.
more teeth.
I think the same people that are parking out there aren't looking at your Nixle either. They're just going to leave their car out there.
What if it creates a driving problem? That's where Dave reaches out to Roy and his officers could make that point of contact to say.
I mean, I
"Listen,
know
you
Cuyahoga
should
Falls is a completely different community, but dang, there's a snow ban, there's no cars. Cuyahoga Falls, their police, they don't take this crap. They get rid of the cars. I mean, we're counting on these people to be responsible. Number one, they're not responsible. They're lazy. So
Well, it's a small percentage.
I know, it's just not right. It jeopardizes the other people that are actually responsible. I mean, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Spock was right. We got to stop being so tiptoe through the tulips. We got to get some. I'm so tired of this. We're going to put a notification out. We're going to put a notification out. We need frickin' kahunas. I'm telling you. Okay, thank you. I didn't get all my coffee today, but that's okay.
We got a Keurig in the back if you need it.
Oh, that's not real coffee, Nick.
I know, but it'll patch
Come
you
on.
over.
I'm going to donate a coffee grinder.
I'll chip in. All right, Dave, other pieces.
no, that pretty much does it for right now.
Okay. Moving into Parks and Rec. Cassie, floor is yours.
I have some updates for you and one item for discussion. Old business, the McGuire Park driveway chain and the park close sign are up now. I don't think a lot of people are trying to get in there with all the snow, but that is up now and for the future when we need it. Thank you, Dave, for getting that done for me. We had a meeting with OTARMA's risk management on 12/11. We went through all of our parks and visited some areas of risk, and they're going to be writing a report for us on areas such as like the playground, the dog park, our trails, things, some recommendations from them. That'll help us guide our future projects to see where our priorities should lie with them. Brimfest updates. I do have a lead with an amusement ride company. I am working with them. I'm going to talk to them later today. They have availability the weekend of 9/13. So we're going to be working on some logistics with that. Past programs, our Christmas Audubon bird count on December 15th got canceled due to a ice storm in the morning that was planned for the early morning. So we unfortunately had to cancel that this year. On the 31st, we did have our New Year's Eve program here at the town hall. We had about 85 attendees, so that was really, really well received. We really enjoyed it. And then the Tour of Lights holiday lighting contest, first place, the winners were announced. First place went to 1935 Cypress Circle, and we had 195 votes from the public total.
How many total entered the contest?
We had 9 this year. That's about average. Except for in 2020 when we had like 20 people because everyone was home and bored. So new business. The first quarter program guide is out now. I am also working on finalizing some yoga classes for adults and seniors that will be starting in February. I'll be getting those details out as soon as they're finalized. I'm just working on the final details for that. And then I had a item for discussion, the gazebo. I have had some questions about renting that. I know previously we had rented that out for weddings and small parties and things like that. So I wanted to bring that to your attention as we enter the new year. Do we want to reopen that for spring? Do we want to think about it?
We just stopped it because of the construction.
Correct.
Yeah, and I don't think we rented it for parties. I think, but there were a lot of people that just like having weddings up there, and they weren't big things. They were just they would get married. And they'd get, so I mean, I personally think we ought to go back to it. That was
Well, we simply shut it down because we weren't allowed to have it here because of the construction.
Right.
So now, I don't know if we're officially released yet, Holly, from any of that stuff outside.
We're permitted to hold events there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Is there any kind of issue that we would have with parking?
well,
Anything like that that we need to address?
I had talked to Craig at one point about all the 25 signs reserved for firefighters. Take a few of them down, but kidding, Craig. It's not 25. What is it?
No, and we agreed that
24.
those first 4 or 5 should be moved.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
anticipate-
We'll move them to the back.
With
wall.
how infrequently it was rented before, I don't really anticipate any issues.
No, just a lot of people like that hometown thing. It's a neat little picture
Yeah.
moment and stuff. And correct me if Trick would know more than I did, but they were usually smaller weddings over there at the gazebo, right? Yeah, they bring in white chairs. It looked pretty. I don't know how many are going to want to do it with the fire station in the background, but it still is pretty.
the rental just reserves it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to go have a wedding there tomorrow, they could go have it. It's
That
a
is true.
public facility, so
Yeah.
but that just reserves in case 2 of them are at the same time. I know I've seen, before construction, there would be this little small weddings. There are prom pictures and all that.
Yeah,
kind
it
of stuff.
was nice. It's a nice town, that hometown thing.
So I just there's a couple things come to mind. One, we really need to get some quotes to ensure the accessibility of the gazebo. So whether it's a ramp installed or something of that nature, I would say we really need to get started on that now to get some quotes on how to make sure that that's accessible. So that would be the first one. And then the second one that we've talked about is just ensuring safety over there. So with the gazebo, there is that rock wall now to the side of it. And as we experienced even just at the lighting ceremony in the winter, kids like to jump off those rock walls. And as we discussed, even over here, there's lots of rocks and it's unstable and it's not meant for play. So we just have to figure out a way.
Putting up some railing.
Well, whether it's a railing, whether it's building up that top layer, I'm not sure. We've been talking about it. I don't know if the railing. I'm not sure what the right solution is. The railing might take away from the space. It kind of doesn't fit, but it might be the best solution. So I think we just need.
There's so many nice railings now and things.
Well, didn't we already talk that though? And that's why the shrubs are there instead of the railing? Wasn't that a?
Yeah, but
discussion at one time?
I anticipated when we talked about this that they were going to be large shrubs, but they are not large shrubs. And so by the time if they grow large, it's going to take a long time. So
If I can jump in real quick, that is one of the areas I visited with Otarma, and she will be giving me a detailed report of her opinion. I also did I met with Mike Woolman there and went over it. He didn't immediately see any ADA concerns necessarily because it is a historic structure. He said it's more of a courtesy to offer that because of the type of structure it is. He didn't think that ADA necessarily applied, but he did recommend maybe modifying that to make it more accessible to people.
I mean, you were
Gotcha.
talking about putting a ramp into the gazebo?
yes, yeah. So and again, it's maybe that's a discussion point for you guys. And if Mike has identified that it's not required because it's a historical structure, then that's not something we have to do. But back to, do we want to do it as a courtesy? What if someone wanted to get married there and was not able to walk? There's no way for them to get up there. So not necessarily needing a decision today, if it's not required, but maybe we'll bring that back to you guys. Is that something we should consider just to ensure that everyone can access it?
Well, I'm glad that Cassie's at least looking forward towards this because it's something that was an integral piece of the township from the bandstand to whatever it became. So
I think-
I do think we need to have some discussion, get this thing moving forward.
Yeah, I would say I'm for the rentals in 2025. Before we do that, can we just make sure that the historical structure exemption exists? Because the last thing we want to do is open up a rental and then we're in some legal case because we didn't have
Right.
proper
Well, this one we
access.
should put on fast track because, we're spring's right around the corner.
People,
I mean, most
people are
people
making
get-
plans already
Yeah,
or
most
already
people that are
have.
getting married are already married. I mean, and that's why that other piece we had was down at the community center, getting that deck put in so we could have a small wedding down there. So,
Yeah, and I would say we do know parking is going to be an issue, depending, if someone wanted to use that area during the day, there is a potential concern with parking. We had that issue with, just with New Year's Eve. There was great attendance and our employees had nowhere to park. So,
right.
and we are looking at options at that, but we just need to be cognizant that as we start to open up the space, it is an issue currently.
Well,
and-
what I would do, I mean, I'm just throwing this out. I would just limit weddings to Saturdays and Sundays. Because number one, the whole staff is not here. It's open and, not many people get married. 90% of the weddings are on Saturday.
But you officially couldn't stop them.
Yeah, you couldn't stop them.
If they just came out there today at the public.
Yeah, they could get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the old town green.
Right.
I would just like to verify that historic structure first. please.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey, what we're talking real quick, does anyone have the old town green water pump? They were talking about it on Facebook a while
I think
back.
it all got ripped out when we tore that
Do we-
section, and put
do
the
we-
sign.
do we
on.
save it somewhere?
Unless we get to the council house. I don't
Should have saved it and put
There's a
it.
hand pump in the cemetery. Could that be it?
No, it wasn't. It wouldn't have been. That one's still been there.
Okay.
It was the one that was out in front of the sign.
Yeah, they were talking about it. They were asking where it went.
Well,
Well, it
and
probably
also
didn't. I
when
know it
they-
didn't work, but
Well, and part of it was when they widened the road too. That kind of came up into that section where they had to tear it out. But they, I don't know what happened to it that time. Unless the Kelso House got it, I think it just got tossed.
yeah, it was sort of neat. I don't even know what it was for. I don't know if it's for the horses or. Chick, was that for the horses? The pump we used to have in the town green? Was there a trough there? I can't remember. Yeah, I thought at one point there was a trough somewhere around. Okay, so we gotta progress this forward. So let's, maybe Nick, or Holly, we set up something? So,
Yeah, so we'll just verify that it's not required for a historical structure. Then we can, I would say think about it. Maybe we'll get quotes for accessibility just to see if that's something we want to do, even if we verify it's not required.
right,
And then we will have to end up coming back to you about some type of railing or other solution for the top of the.
yeah, I'm just thinking
rock
out
wall.
loud here, Nick, and all you, and Sue. Since it is a historical society, why don't we get some kind of plaque made? So people could actually understand. I mean, the whole thing's not just the roof.
Right.
Came down off the old bandstand. Wouldn't it be cool to have a picture of the old bandstand and the original roof and that kind of stuff? It's just sort of, I mean, there is history around here that a lot of people are gonna never know because a lot of the people that know are getting old and passing on.
I'm going to be getting some plaques anyways, one to recognize for the donation of the barnstone that we used, and also for this wood. So if you guys do want a plaque just showing, for the gazebo, you just need to let me know what you want
Well,
it to
I think we
say.
should.
I think we should, and I just work with the historical society to get some verbiage to
Okay.
put on there to
Yeah,
kind of
well,
tell the
they
story of it.
They have a really good picture of it too.
Because what could really be cool is with the town green. I mean, there's, if we're gonna get that memorial fire marker, I mean, have it where people could actually walk around and have something to do.
Right.
I mean,
I have some,
Cassie's got
sorry.
like input
Go
on
ahead,
it.
Cassie. Sorry.
I have some really great resources for interpretive signage. Like when you go to the national park, they have those kind of slanted signs with the large pictures on them that tell some
Oh,
history of
yeah.
the area. I think an interpretive sign with a picture of the bandstand would be really, really cool for that.
Yeah, it would be.
I have some good pictures I could use. use for that too.
So just look at some options and then we can just bring it back to the next meeting. But I would say you don't even need a motion for the opening of the gazebo because it was closed due to construction.
Yeah.
I think as long as you have the historical exemption, we can start advertising and then we'll decide where we move from there. Once you get some prices.
And then I should be getting that risk management assessment back soon, hopefully before next meeting. So I'll be presenting that to you when that comes out, which will have that information in it also.
Well, you're gonna have to come up with some kind of simple fee.
We have a fee. I have to remember what it was.
I don't
It's been some
remember
time.
what,
I
It's
think
in-
it was
it's in the-
minimal.
It's in the baseball
$50,
field.
$40,
It's out
something like
25
that.
bucks or something
Yeah.
like
It's
that.
not much.
Yeah.
That'd be great to have that thing in action again.
All right. Anything else for Parks and Rec at this time?
The Kelso House years ago made up a notebook. And it was where you could pick up this notebook and make an individual drive around the township where you had to find the pictures that were in the notebook. And that may be where you can get some pictures that you would need to work on your project.
I think you gave me a copy of this notebook. I think it is in my archive somewhere.
Okay.
Let me dig for it. I have a copy of I can't remember. It's like the history of Portage County in photos. I think the Record Courier put it out a few years ago. I have a copy of that in my office as well.
Okay.
When they have a lot of those photos too. So,
Okay.
and the Kelso House, of course, has those.
All right. We'll move into cemetery. I see no business there.
Oh, I just want to have an FYI. I want to let you all know that for the year of 2024, we had 33 burials in Restland. So I think that's good to know. And I think there were 8 of them that were military people.
So anything on the columbariums? Our numbers, how are the numbers in the are people taking advantage of the columbariums?
Well, we do have the columbarium and we haven't sold a lot. There's 72 spots. I think we've maybe have picked up maybe 10 or 12 that we've sold. But I also want to let you know that when you are cremated and you own plots, there may be one person wants to be buried in the ground and the other spouse wants to be cremated. You can put those all on the same plot. And then we've just put in where there's a new columbarium that there's like four spots, and that little unit goes on top of your ground plot. So you have maybe up to 6 people that you can get on that one plot. So that would kind of slow down buying the actual columbarium that we have there. Those plots, when you have different configurations here of how your family wants to do it. So we've had Jenny right now was pulling the figures together for how many cremation graves that we've done in 2024. She'll have that for me here the next meeting. But we're really pleased that we used the federal grant to purchase 5 acres to expand the cemetery. That was $126,000, I believe. But that was all paid from grant money. That was not tax dollars used to purchase that. So we will be able to expand. Thank you.
Well, if I could just add on to that too, we changed the price of the columbarium to kind of get more usage of it. So I'm not sure we did that is that the last cemetery meeting that we did?
Yeah,
it
that
in?
was in December.
So it might have in the last quarter, you might see a little bit more because we didn't make it. We had a point where if we sold half of them, we could go buy another one. I think now we have to sell 3/4 of them to be able to go buy another one, but it wasn't selling. So,
Okay.
So we did that. Also, I just had one thing, Dave, did Helmling get a hold of you? Okay, because he was trying to get a hold of me about the dumping of more dirt back there, but he had some questions on some stuff. So if you can maybe reach out to him when the snow stops. Helmling's the one that's filling in the back part of the cemetery property that we have. So, but he was trying to get a meeting with you or I or someone to talk about that.
Is that after, I mean, I've talked to him before.
It was like 2 or 3 days ago.
I talked to him about a month ago.
Okay. Yeah, just kind of, I don't know whatever happened to his thing that he really wanted to push it over there, but he wanted to talk to you about something. So, go ahead.
Dave, are you getting a lot of dirt dumped back there?
Just him.
Just him?
Well, and we took the dirt from the parking lot over there. That all got dumped there.
The other parking lot.
Yeah. It's been under our control. We don't have it open to. the
That's
public
good.
to go dump. But we had a deal with Helmling of what he was dropping over there, and he wasn't charging us anything for it, and it was all clean fill. So that's what we were doing to fill that in. It's got a big ramp over there now. If you look, there's a lot of dirt that's been poured in there already, but it's got 5 years of people dumping dirt to open the one side of the cemetery. The other side we could start working on anytime. So.
Okay. All right. Fiscal office, do you have any updates for us today?
The only thing I have is that we're at the beginning of a new year, so we're in temporary appropriations right now. So each department head knows how we do all this. We're going to start working on your budgets for 25. As soon as we get the bank statement, which is probably here right now, usually comes by the 10th of the month to close out 2024. Then I'll have all the official numbers to start with the budget amount that's out there. But then I'll get with all of you. So if each department head can start figuring out what their plans for 25 are, and then we'll match the numbers up. And we'll probably do that at the beginning of February. So that all good with everybody? Okay. All right. That's all.
All right, thank you. All right, anything for the good of Brimfield Township? Any comments?
Yes, for the good of Brimfield. I have been on the committee or the board of the Portage County Central Visitors Bureau for a number of years. And so I want to just say just a couple minutes here about this. In that our tax money, a portion of it goes to the Visitors Bureau to help support that board. And that is where we try to get heads in beds. And we want people to come in for our hotels, but we want to make it important enough that there's some place for them to come to and see. And part of that is marketing and advertising. I have this magazine. It's the winter edition, 2025. It's called Compass, Ohio. Fitness, health, and recreation. And it says winter wonders, fun food, and friendships. And in here is a full page. I'll hold it up so you can see it. It's a full page ad of coming to the Kent and Brimfield area for our destinations of what we have for people to see. But I wanted you to see what the bed tax money, some of the bed tax money goes to providing us in different magazines. And when you travel and you stop at the roadside rest and you go in and you see all these big plaques of places where you go, these big racks of brochures. We have one there for Portage County, from the Central Portage County thing. That goes all over, not all over Pennsylvania, but a portion of Pennsylvania and Ohio and some down in West Virginia. But that's where we get people to come in and visit. And if they visit and like us, hopefully they'll come back. But and today Diane Rock is the director of that board, the administrative person with it, and she's with us here today. But I wanted you to meet her, make her feel welcome. And also we met with our organizational meeting, and Holly is going to take over my position on that board, and so we can have a closer working relationship. So I just want to let you know, if you want to see something really good and see a big full page ad, and these things, this is in color and it's expensive. So I want you to see where your money was going.
Just, make that clear, because it's actually bed tax money.
Yeah, whenever you stay at a hotel here, 6% of the cost of your overnight stay or however you stay, that 6% comes to Brimfield. Then that 6% is split, and 3% stays with us and 3%.
25%.
The 25?
Goes to them,
Oh, I'm sorry,
75%.
25%.
Goes to them. And
Brimfield keeps 75%, and the Visitors Bureau, they get the 25% to operate and do things like this and represent us so that people will come. Dagger?
Now, if we can just get some of the hotels to actually contribute the money that they collect back into our account, which is a ongoing problem, which.
Not with all of them.
Not with all of them, but we
Just
know,
one, just
we know
one.
the same ones.
I believe the prosecutor's been working on it, has some ideas, but wasn't able to be here today.
I know.
Yeah, he was
And that's what scares me, the prosecutor.
he was supposed to be here this morning, but notified me before the meeting started that he was
Like I did.
he was unable to attend. So he'll be here at the meeting on the 20th, and we'll make sure Diane's back too so she can hear. But he'll be coming to give us some options to create a policy on how to address the ones that are continuously delinquent.
But Airbnbs are becoming a huge issue around the state, and it's happening in different communities. And there is litigation down at the state level. The Ohio Chamber of Commerce is kind of for the Airbnbs because of the fact that they're a member of Ohio Airbnbs, but the Ohio Hotel and Lodging Association is fighting it because, again, Airbnbs do not have to follow regulations. They don't have fire codes. There's a lot of different things that, and they don't pay the bed tax. So what happens
I
is
don't know
these communities
people know.
sometimes are put into a position to pay for all of these amenities and get no bed tax to help service it. That 75% of the bed tax goes to roads and police, fire, and stuff to help maintain it. We get, again, that 25%. So that's something that a lot of communities now are starting to put in some of their own set rules on Airbnbs as they start to infiltrate their communities. And they also, just as an example, we probably haven't here for a while, but Fort Clinton has a big issue where businesses are coming in groups, buying up the homes, and creating Airbnbs to the point that the employees have, people, they're losing their community. It's transient that comes in and out of there, and so that has become an issue too, and not just Fort Clinton, but other places around the state. So as you're doing any of your future thoughts or whatever, zoning ideas or whatever, bring the police and the fire and everybody to the state, and I know you have to follow state and your township. But keep an eye on the Airbnb situation that's happening down at the state level.
All right, thank
I'm
you.
glad you said something. We probably should have Mike put that on his radar.
And what I didn't know, what is an Airbnb? And that's your bed and breakfast type.
Now it's individually.
Is
so you
this
just-
some of it?
But you can typically Airbnbs are, I put my house up because I'm going to be out of town for the weekend. People can rent my house and stay in my
Yeah.
house. And there's
Yeah,
just a
that's-
direct contract.
Okay,
We had
okay, well, good.
somebody requesting to be, as we presented on our board yesterday, that are opening on Kent that want us to promote them on our visitor bureau website, which in some ways would make sense, but we were against that because of the fact that, we're not getting anything from that, and two, they don't have to follow rules. Do we want to promote a business that we're not sure, how does that run? Are you, following rules? Are there fire,
Right.
detectors in that home? Are there different things? So,
Is
We'll take,
Ohio's trying to regulate it?
it's been going on, so between the Ohio Lodging and, like I said, the Ohio Chamber, there are bills in the House. It got pushed back because there's a lot of money in Airbnbs. And the lodging is trying to find a way to regulate it. They want regulations so that we get that bed tax money from there. Most of the townships, if you are under 6 rooms, you don't pay the bed tax. And so, that would always cycle out a small bed and breakfast and things wouldn't have to pay that bed tax type fee. But because Airbnb is becoming such a huge issue, and especially in those areas, like I said, I'm giving examples like Fort Clinton and things, it just suddenly booms, and then it becomes an issue where, again, all of that money's going in, but the services of that community has to handle it, but they're not gonna get paid for it. So there's a lot of combinations to it, let alone the whole marketing aspect of it. And then again, with the whole marketing, the big key of the Central Florida Visitor Bureau too is besides just marketing the area and create the heads and beds, because by doing that, we're hoping bringing in people to come visit, but we also are then increasing that 75% that goes to the community. That's the big key of all of it. But the other thing is that the way the world works now, years ago, you would find a job, you would then find a house, and you find a place to play. It's completely turned around now. People will find a place that they love to play, then they will find a place to work.
Diane, I appreciate this, but this is the good of the order. We can't have the public comments. I'd love to have you come back during, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, good of the order is just for the board. Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank-
anything
thank
else
you
from
for
the good of the
time.
board? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make that motion.
I will second.
All in
Second.
fa- All in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
motion passed. We're adjourned at 9:00 AM.
thank you.
So for both a year